Is this part of my training?
Just watch.
God, look at you move.
She never wants to leave her dad's side.
I think it's time for you to get back to basics.
Oh.
It takes time to hone your skills.
Gotcha.
All right, that's enough for
I
that.
need to learn how to be like you.
What do you think it means to be like me?
You know. Or, how about
How much do you think she wants to impress her hero?
Dom, are you okay?
Okay, I've been here with like
you never come back?
How old were you when it happened?
I was born a few years before you vanished, but I don't have any memories of you.
So the wedding?
It was pretty much the first time I met you. I can imagine so many different things to say to you. Still can't believe I always remember to say I do. I guess things don't always go the way you plan them.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got some new Flash footage to break down from episode 2 and the most epic of Reverse Flash teasers for Crisis on Infinite Earths. There's a new round of that Flash Ring giveaway going on. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. So if you rewatch the episode a couple times, you can actually read the text on Nora's version of the Future newspaper from 25 years after the initial Future newspaper in 2024. We've been poring over it for the last couple of seasons, but what it actually says is, in the years following the crisis, accounts only grew more contradictory. Some eyewitnesses remember dozens of other heroes present, including Green Arrow, Batwoman, and Elongated Man. Others remember heroes thought lost in time, like the Atom, or from other worlds, like Supergirl. Some even contend that they saw Reverse Flash leading an army of shadow demons. So what they've actually done there is retconned their original Crisis on Infinite Earths that they teased during the Flash pilot that we've been seeing on the Future newspaper for the past 5 years on the TV show. Flash vanishes in Crisis, like there's the Batman reference to the Queen Industries Wayne Tech merger at the bottom. You have the Red Skies vanish, which is a reference to Superman. That's something that the Reverse Flash would do to prevent Superman from absorbing yellow sunlight, or Supergirl now in this case, as they mentioned. So what they've done now is because they've introduced all these new characters to the universe, they're actually legit building towards a Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover in a couple of years. Who knows what they'll end up changing from the comics? It'll be their TV show version, the Arrowverse version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. You also may have spotted the shout out to Psycho Pirate, who's also a big character from Crisis on Infinite Earths. It says research is fractured on Roger Hayden, who is the Psycho Pirate character, who claims to remember tonight's events. He said upon his arrest, "Worlds lived, worlds died, nothing will ever be the same." That's a quote taken directly from the comic book. He was actually cursed to remember all of the events of Crisis, whereas it was a big retcon for the universe because they collapsed the multiverse. So a lot of the characters didn't remember the burden of that, but he was forced to remember the terror of everything that had happened. When they say the Reverse Flash is leading an army of shadow demons, what they're probably referring to is the shadow demons from Darkseid War that were fighting for the Anti-Monitor, what was basically Anti-Monitor versus Darkseid and the forces of Apocalypse. So Darkseid War was a slightly different event than Crisis. Think of Crisis more in the comic book way. This is all about Barry Allen sacrificing his life to destroy the Anti-Monitor's weapon so that he goes back then and becomes the bolt of lightning that gave him powers during Season 1. Nora's big thing now, we know, is preventing that from happening. Whether or not that's actually possible remains to be seen. Because, if that's going to be her big thing this season, I'm going to find a way to save my father. That was Barry's thing for all of Season 1. I'm going to find out who killed my mother and I'm going to save her. Turns out accomplishing that easier said than done. So it sounds like Nora is just going to have to come to the same conclusion that Barry did during Season 3 after Flashpoint. I just have to learn to be okay with my father, Barry Allen, dying. Part of the fun of this, though, is her thinking that she's smarter than that, I can actually figure out a way. I'm from the future, I have all this advanced technology. There's got to be a way that I can prevent him from dying. So way back during season 1, we saw this. They said that it was just a teaser, like they were just joking about the Batman Wayne Tech merger with Queen Industries. Yeah, maybe we'll get to do that someday. Well, now we have the Monitor appearing during this year's crossover, meaning that if they have that character, we probably have an Anti-Monitor somewhere in the Antimatter universe. But if you guys spotted it, there were a lot of Reverse Flash Easter eggs during the episode that I didn't talk about. She talks about a Mr. Miles that was the curator of the Flash Museum. That could be the new version of the Reverse Flash, but like I was talking about, how they make minor changes to the timeline and that might give them some more comic book Easter eggs down the road. Like right now, Nora's had a relatively lonely life being an only child, kind of a bad relationship with her mother in the future, Iris. So the idea is that while they're making changes to the timeline this season, they accidentally change a couple things. Maybe she winds up with a twin brother in the future, but also their changes in the timeline also affect the new version of the Reverse Flash. So obviously we have the Matt Letcher version right now, the original Eobard Thawne, then we have the Harrison Wells version. You make changes to the timeline, like they made the joke about Eddie getting a vasectomy during the episode. That also affects what's going on with Reverse Flash in the future. So that's also a way for him to come back looking different because of quote-unquote changes that they make. But really, the easiest way to introduce him is just to have him secretly be the curator of the Flash Museum. That's probably the most fan-servicey way to accomplish that. And they mention it so many times. I definitely think we'll get at least a little peek of the Flash Museum. Hopefully in the 100th episode, but they haven't revealed anything about that. So if we actually do get that, we probably won't hear about it for a while. Because right now, they're filming the crossover episode. Stephen Amell just dropped a big teaser. He said that they're going to make some announcements on Thursday. So whatever that is, I will totally do a video for it. But part of the fun of next week's episode is just running Barry through the paces of trying to teach Nora all the different skills that he learned in the first couple of seasons, like throwing lightning. Then she hits him with his giant blast. It's okay, I've been hit with lightning before. The title of the episode is Blocked, which is a bit of a play on this Meta's powers, who literally puts Barry in a block and stops him dead in his tracks. For all you Max Mercury fans that have been wondering why we haven't seen him on the show, but we have Mercury Labs. They have Mercury on the building behind here too. Maybe we'll see a version of him at some point. Cicada is also supposed to be coming for this meta, and that's how he crosses paths with Team Flash. So the picture of him with the dagger in front of Cisco and then him clutching his hand might be from episode 2. This seems like it'll lead to Cisco losing his powers. We'll see what kind of an arc they give him in the first part of the season just because of this big Cicada twist. But everybody start freaking out about Reverse Flash, his secret army of shadow demons, the minions of the Anti-Monitor, and all this crazy stuff that they're building up towards. Stephen Amell has been teasing the crossover this year more than anyone else, so if he drops any more info bombs, I will totally include it in videos. He actually said that he's going to be the person to start the crossover, so like the opening scene will be a scene with a version of Oliver Queen. I know everybody's freaking out about James Gunn jumping from Marvel to DC to do that Suicide Squad movie, possibly other big DC movies in the future if things go well. I'll do a video about that next explaining what's going on because it actually involves a lot of changes to the plot of Avengers 4 for the Guardians of the Galaxy because of what they did postponing that movie. So that video should be up in the next couple of hours. There's also a whole bunch of other news that drop, so I'll post updates in the comments and then on my Twitter feed. All the links for that are in the description, so everybody get hype. It's going to be awesome. YOLO Gamer 55, congratulations, you're the giveaway winner from my last big video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Click here for my episode 1 video and click here for that new Carnage Venom trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.